Hello everyone. So now we are going to start the discussion of a new topic which is about the private credits. Okay. See, basically over here the motive of the topic is to understand the risk and the rise of the private credit. Okay. See what happens when people like us, retailers, we want money. We approach the banks. Clear? We take the money. Large institutions, they issue the bonds, clear, and they raise the money from the market. But when it comes to the small organization who don't have that strong balance sheet, bank don't try to give them the loan because they are risky. First aspect. Second, they cannot issue the corporate bonds. It's very it involves huge amount of investments, it involves huge amount of process, and sometimes legally you are not allowed to apply for the corporate bonds. Clear? Then what options you are left with? Because you need the money, then you will go to the private credits. There are many institutions who lend the money to these small institutions. Clear? And then they take the money, they operate and do their business, return the money back to the institutions, but it comes at a higher cost. Clear? So this particular topic is divided into two parts. First is your characteristics of private credit, and second is the private credit risk. We are going to do it in two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is about the characteristics, pure characteristics, and second part is about the risk. So what I'm going to start with is the characteristics. First, what is private credit? It's very important to understand, sir, what is private credit. See the first word. It's a non-bank corporate lending. Non-bank corporate lending through some private agreements. There are some private agreements which is for middle market companies. They cannot easily access the bank loans or the public bond market. Clear? And who are the investors? So the investors are pension funds. Clear? Insurance companies, sovereign wealth funds, or some family offices. Okay, they invest through a method known as closed end funds, BDCs or CLOs, which we are going to discuss later, that what is this, how they are actually investing. Clear? So one thing is clear, sir, it is a non-bank. Clear? It is a non-bank provided, means basically you are getting the money through some outsiders, not even the banks, not even from the public, and there is a private agreement. What is this private agreement? Basically the terms are negotiated privately between whom? Between the lenders and the borrowers. Between the lenders and the borrowers. Clear? Traditionally you have source of money is the bank and you can raise the money from the market, but now for some people it's difficult. They go with the third option, that they borrow directly with the private credit. Clear? Now you might have a question, sir, how actually this private credit emerges. Okay, they emerges because of this finance gap. Clear? Because there are many companies, okay, whose basically the companies whose revenue is approximately say between 100 million to 1 billion. Okay, they are not too large for the bank and they are too small to issue the public bond. So that's why they need some source of funding. The funding is coming from outside. Clear? Now let me give you one example, that there is a healthcare company and they need to raise $250 million for the purpose of their expansion. So bank will not provide you the entire amount. Clear? And company is not allowed to issue the public bonds. Then they approach this sovereign wealth funds, insurance companies and pension houses, so that they can get their money and they can invest it in the market. Clear? So the point is very clear, sir. What is the structure of the private credit? The flow is quite simple, that sir, I have an there are institutional investors who hold huge amount of wealth. Clear? Then they create a wealth, they create a fund, they all put their money into that fund, and now that fund will invest into the companies. Clear? And who are the investors? Pension funds, insurance companies, sovereign wealth funds and family offices. Clear? Now, as I said, there is a point to be discussed. Sir, what is this closed end funds that I need to discuss? Okay, perfect. So now what we are going to discuss first of all is the closed-ended funds. Now, whatever I have discussed, that middle market companies whose revenue is between these amounts, so they need the money, they cannot go to the bank, they go to the private lenders. Now, what is the method of investment? Sir, one point which I have just now explained or told you about the point, that is your closed end fund. What is this closed end fund? Basically, investors will lock their money for a fixed period of time. Means, as I'm saying that there are many investors, they hold huge amount of money. Clear? What they will do? They will put their money into a basket, that fund. Now over here there are good managers who manage this money, and their task is to invest in multiple companies who are looking for the private credit, and then they get the interest. So like investors are committing that they are putting their money for the period of 7 years. Clear? So now fund manager can provide a long-term loan, because investors suddenly cannot withdraw the money. I am an investor. Suppose I am this investor and I have put those $100 over here. After 1 month, say I need my money back. No, you cannot do that, because they have already given the money for a long term, for say 7 years. So you cannot withdraw it back. So you have locked in your money for a longer period of time. Are you clear? Now, see, it's very important to understand, because when you have given the money to a company, suppose this is a company. Clear? Now if the investor wants the money back, then fund, where they will get the money from? Definitely they will approach the company and they'll say, hey, give my money back. But they have already invested their money in the machinery, so how they will give it back? It's very impossible to give that money back in a very short period of time. Clear? That's why it's important that we lock that period for the investors, that they cannot withdraw their money. Clear? So one thing is clear, that sir, for these investors, private loans, they are very difficult to sell quickly. You cannot sell it, and they are highly illiquid. Clear? So one thing is clear, that closed end funds, they are going to be highly illiquid in the market. Clear? And you cannot take your money back very easily. Being an investor, you presume like that you have given the money and it's not going to come back to you for the next 7 years. Clear? And it's going to be high risk as well. Now write down this point. Closed-ended funds reduce liquidity risk. See, try to understand that. Suppose means, first I have to explain you this point, that sir, if it is highly liquid, then how it actually reduce the liquidity risk? Very important question to be asked. Clear? So see, if suppose if a fund gives $100 million loan to a private company. Clear? So you know that you cannot easily sell that loan into the market, get your money back, pay to the investor. Definitely it's not easy to sell your loan. The loan which you have taken, you cannot sell it, take the money and give it back. No. Okay. But imagine, suppose there is a mutual fund. Okay, open-ended mutual fund. What happened? Open-ended mutual fund. Suppose I am an investor. Okay, I'll go and I'll say that I need my money back. I want redemption. The fund manager will have to return your money. And how? He will have to sell the stock. Even if he don't want to sell, he need to sell the stock in order to give you the money. So what happens? Fund manager will suffer huge amount of loss, because there is a possibility that many investors will come at the same point of time and ask for the redemption. But in this situation, closed-ended funds, investors cannot approach the fund manager and say, hey, give my money back. So to the fund manager, liquidity risk is not there. He don't need to liquidate his asset. To the fund manager, what is my asset? The loan which I have given to company X. Clear? Now I don't need to liquidate that loan, because what happens? Suppose in that situation, investors given $100 to the fund manager invested those $100. Clear? Now I said I want my money back. I'm an investor. So if suppose if it is not logged in, what would have had happened? They have to sell their asset in order to give their money back. Definitely, if the asset is of $100, the rate at which they purchase, they might not get it full. Suppose they get only $70. How much he will be able to return after deducting his management fees? Say $65. So there is a loss. Why? Because there is a need of the liquidity. Clear? But in this situation, closed-ended funds, there is no need to redeem your investment for the given period of time. Are you clear with this? So this characteristics part is quite easy, but the area which is in more depth, it is actually the risk part. Clear? So now I'm going to discuss the 5 main characteristics of the private credit. Write down number 1, direct lending. Direct lending. Clear? Basically, you directly negotiate with the lenders. So owner and lender, they negotiate on terms and condition, on interest rates, on the amount to be received, when to pay, everything. Clear? So there is no public exchanges involved. It can be customized and it can be directly negotiated as well. Clear? So it's a private contract. It's a private contract between the lender as well as the borrower. Clear? Write down second characteristics, higher borrowing cost. Higher borrowing cost. See, private credit is usually more expensive than the banks. Clear? Because borrowers are generally riskier. Because if I am not getting the money from bank, that's for sure that I'm risky, because bank don't give the money to those institutions which are really risky. Okay, where credit rating is lower. Clear? So finance says that higher the risk, higher the return required. Clear? So if the bank loan is loan interest rate is 7%, private credit definitely will be charging you 10 to 12%. Clear? Coming to the third characteristics, customized loan terms. Write down customized loan terms. See, private credit gives you the flexibility on many aspects because they are charging you higher interest rate. So now whatever best is possible, they are going to provide to the borrowers. Clear? Like if suppose I'm a startup, clear, and I invest today, but my cash flow will start after 3 years. I might be investing in the R&D, in the marketing, in the development of the product. So immediately I'm not getting the money. Clear? But at the later stage, when I'll get the money, I'll start repaying you. So initially there is no payment. Interest will get accumulated and it will be paid later on. Clear? So this customization is difficult in the public market, but very easy in the private market. Clear? So 3 characteristics are done. Coming to the 4th characteristics, that is strong covenants. Basically, there are huge amount of restrictions which are placed on the borrowers, like they cannot pay excessive dividends, they cannot buy back the shares, they cannot sell their important assets, and they cannot take additional debt. Why? Because lender want to protect himself. Because what happen if I am an borrower, I have taken a loan from you, then I'll start taking the loan from your friends, your families, from everyone. I'll start taking the loan. A point will come, my asset on which earlier you only have the right to sell if I'll not repay you, but now 5 other also have the right on the same asset. That's why they say that you cannot borrow more money and you have to safeguard your cash, because if you'll pay more dividends, if you'll buy back your shares, what will happen? You will lose your huge amount of cash. Clear? Coming to the 5th and the final characteristics, that is your strong borrower relationship. Write down strong borrower relationship. Basically over here, because they're directly connected, so there is a huge amount of discussion going on between the lender and the borrower. Okay, they actually holds that close relationship, because if the borrower will face some temporary problems, then lenders will extend the maturity of the loan, restructure the payment, they even renegotiate on multiple terms. So why? Because they don't want the borrower to get defaulted. Okay, and they want a better recovery rate as well. Clear? So these are the 5 characteristics. Now when I'm saying that after I have done my characteristics, second important points are who are actually the investors. I have discussed the names, sir. Pension funds, because they have to pay the pension of their employees say after 30 years. So they want some long-term investments. Clear? Insurance companies, they need some stable cash flows, not now, but at least in the future. sovereign wealth fund. They invest for long term so that they can create the wealth. Clear? And similarly with the family offices. Clear? Why they are investing? Because they want higher amount of yield, stable income, as well as diversification. Clear?